Get set. It's March and time for a Manhattan happening. We have your ticket to semifinal Saturday at the Big East. The Garden today will be a buzz. 2 games coming your way. First up, UConn, the 1 seed against Providence. And then later on, Georgetown and Seton Hall, a critical game as the winner will likely earn a spot into the NCAA tournament field. Welcome, everybody. I'm Jim Nance. We're pleased to have you with us for this doubleheader today. First up, UConn trying to lock up a #1 seed in the NCAAs against Providence, a team that has never qualified, never advanced to the Big East championship game. It's a nice matchup with one of the great players in college basketball, Donell Marshall for the Huskies, who had 42 points in yesterday's victory against St. John's. He had 42 points in the Garden earlier this year in another win against the Redmen. He'll be going up against another premier player in this league, Michael Smith. He has won the rebounding title 3 straight years, the first to ever do so in the Big East Conference. Yesterday, 25 points and 12 rebounds in a win against Villanova. Billy Packard, good to be back with you. And
same here.
How about this game here today, the first one?
Jim, a real contrast in teams. Of course, everybody around the country knows about Connecticut now. They've had a great year, won the Big East by 3 games, which is the first time that ever happened in history. They like to play up and down basketball. They're going up against a Providence club, senior-oriented and dominated, a team that hasn't gotten a lot of credit, a team that I expect to go in the paint hard today, a team that may be tough for Connecticut to beat.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a very close one. The 2 coaches, Jim Calhoun and Rick Barnes. We talked to them yesterday and got their impressions on this matchup.
Well, for us, we just can't get beat up. And I mean, the Providence, I think, is one of the best physical teams in the country. I think when they make jump shots, they become even more effective. But I think defensively, you know, they're one of the better rebounding teams in the country. And for us, we're kind of a thin team, really, and we need to get the game into flow. We'd like the game to be, from top of the key to top of the key, so everybody's sprinting back and forth, as opposed to a game which is going to be played with inside the paint. Because inside the paint, once again, that's not our strength.
They've got such good balance offensively, and but certainly Donell is a guy that when they need some baskets, they can go to him. But Sheffer's really hurt us all year long with making some big plays, and each game that we've played has come down to where one of those 2 guys have stepped up. But again, they've got such good balance. If you give them too much attention, that you'll get beat somewhere else. And I just think intensity. I really think that will be a big key. But every time UConn and Providence plays, that's kind of what it gets down to.
So, semifinal Saturday at the Big East is coming up. The Friars and the Huskies first. Tip-off is next.
CBS Sports coverage of the road to the Final Four is sponsored by
Garden, Providence, and UConn about to go. Game 1 of the semifinals. And for Providence, 5 players averaging in double figures. Michael Smith, Eric Williams, Dickey Simpkins up front. Very physical team with Michael Brown and Abdullah in the backcourt. Coach Rick Barnes in his 6th year feels quite certain his team has the numbers, has the wins to get into the NCAA tournament, regardless of outcome today. UConn with Donell Marshall in the front court and Donny Marshall with Eric Hayward in the pivot. Kevin Ollie in the backcourt with Sheffer. And there's Jim Calhoun, 27-3 this year, and the tip controlled by the Friars. UConn comes right out in a man-to-man. UConn beat them twice this year, by 1 and by 8. They were hard-fought battles. Williams. And Sheffer got the rebound as he boxed out.
And Jim, there's the matchup. Simpkins against Donell Marshall. Now Marshall is going to have the advantage when he's moving, advantage on the perimeter. Probably Dickey has the advantage when they go down in just for a power game.
Higgins, Cahill, and Donato, the officials today.
Watch for the body on Donny Marshall on Smith.
Brown, shot blocked by Marshall. He had 100 blocks this year.
The new record holder.
Ollie on the drive. Ollie off the glass.
Abdullah dribbles the ball so low to the floor, he eliminates the pressure from most teams, and of course, that's what Connecticut relies on for a lot of their offense, which is the pressure D.
This is a team that does not turn it over that much, Billy.
Exactly, best turnover ratio in the Big East.
They also have the best rebound margin in the Big East. Williams kicks it back out. Simpkins on the drive. Oh, that's good. And they're going to score it.
Can you believe that, Jim? That was just a throw. Just get rid of the ball, please.
Simpkins will go to the line for one.
It's kind of amazing. He's just kind of falling through and lets it fly. I think he was even surprised. You see his eyes were looking up the basket, and as he got across the lane, he said, oh my God, it went in.
So Simpkins, one of 3 senior starters. And Hayward with the rebound.
Jim, this is a good free throw shooting team. Shooting 70% is Providence.
Sheffer and one.
I think what makes Providence so unique is that it's a team that plays with 2 point guards. So they've got the ability to deliver the ball as well as score. It's really not like most teams with a guy that handles the ball primarily and another guy that shoots. Both of these guys capable of making a play.
That foul called against Michael Brown, so 22-year-old freshman Sheffer, he too unable to complete the 3-point play. 4-2 UConn early action. Providence beat Villanova 77-66 yesterday to make it to the semifinals. Simpkins, that was partially blocked.
Beautiful play by Marshall to not only block it, but control the rebound as well.
Hayward underneath. Good pass by Ollie. And Hayward to the line for 2.
So far, we have Donny Marshall and Michael Smith down inside. Marshall is strong enough to put that body on him, and his job today is to stay body to body with him the entire day. You can't let Smith get free. He's such a dominating rebounder.
That foul, by the way, was against Williams, Eric Williams. 2 for Hayward. UConn winning yesterday against St. John's 97-77. Led by Donell Marshall's 42 points, including 26 in the first half.
Jim, kind of interesting, you know, the top teams around the country, we always talk about having dominating big men. Here in the case of Connecticut, that's kind of like a role-playing job in Connecticut's offense and defense. Hayward handling it right now.
He'll shuttle in 4 players in the pivot, and here's Smith, blocked by Hayward, and picked up by Ollie. He's a good passer. He'll kick it out. Now here's Donell handling it for the first time. Short on the jumper.
Simpkins did a good job getting a hand right in his face.
Abdullah behind the back. And a turnover. Hayward picks it up for the Huskies.
Tough play to make on the move for a big man.
Sheffer to the line for 2. He was pushed.
What you'd have to say right now, Jim, is that the pace of the game, regardless of the score, is a Connecticut game. As Jim Calhoun said, he wants to play top of the key to the top of the key. That's what they're doing.
That's the second on Michael Brown. You saw Ohio University won today. That's one of 3 teams to beat UConn this season, Ohio U.
Probably one of the reasons in that game, and not giving Ohio U enough credit, that Connecticut didn't move into the top 10 as quickly as some people expected. You know what, Jim? They languished for a long time in that 15-16 position.
Well, they started out the year unranked and really no expectations. But when you lose one early, to Ohio University, take nothing away from him, but the Holsters probably had a hard time bumping him up.
Similar to Missouri, you know, with that big loss against Arkansas and then the loss to Notre Dame. Now they find themselves in a 2-3 position in the country. And maybe 2 #1 seeds.
Yes.
Here we see a zone defense now by Connecticut.
Simpkins right underneath.
Kind of surprised they went zone. The man-to-man had been so effective. May see it just for one time down.
Simpkins has all 4 of the Friars' points.
Young man from Vincennes Junior College.
Got 10 on the shot clock. Maybe called for a foul. They're going to call a blocking foul.
Here we have the zone defense. First time that we saw Connecticut go to the zone on early. And we saw a very good attack. I was looking for Eric Williams to be involved with this. Simpkins, as you said, scored a second time. Eric Williams has not scored yet today, Jim. And a young man who was on the bench at the beginning of the year, worked himself in the starting lineup, has now become a proficient scorer. Hasn't been in the offense yet.
Donny Marshall misses. Rebound Smith. By the way, Eric Williams hasn't scored, but he does have 2 fouls, so that's something to watch for.
How about 3?
No, it's
close.
No, they're going to call it against the Huskies. Donny Marshall raises his hand. So foul against Donny Marshall, and we're under 16 minutes to go first half. So a timeout on the floor, 8-4 UConn.
Jump out at me about those 2 teams and today. Raleigh Massimino. Vegas has been buried all year long. He's still in the hunt to get a tournament bid. And, of course, Kansas with Danny Manning. We talk about players that can put a team on their back and carry them to a national crown. We're watching one of them right out here now.
Simpkins underneath, misses the layup, and he controls it to get it back.
Nice hands by Simpkins, but he's got to put that one away. Here's the 1-3-1 zone with Marshall running the baseline. So effective down there. He can go from corner to corner with those long arms and shot blocking ability.
Crozier just into the game, and Phelps follows up. So a couple of subs come in. There's Phelps. Ron Phelps, the senior from Brooklyn, New York, gets the follow-up bucket.
In the loss at Connecticut, Crozier was scored 15 points, 3 of 7 from the 3-point line. So that's probably why he's in here early to test that zone.
5 starters still on the floor for UConn. Ollie, big step, glass. Smith, boy, can he rebound. And they list him at only 6'8". Bounce pass, and thrown away on the second one.
Extra pass too many. When Abdullah threw that ball down in there, Phelps has got to go ahead and look to put the jump shot up. They have beaten the defense back.
You mentioned Rolly Massimino a minute ago. I have no understanding what the fans out in Las Vegas are thinking. They have given this man the hardest time this year. And folks, I got news for you. He can coach. He has won a national championship. It's been such a tumultuous turnover from the Tarkanian to the Massimino era, but they got to give him a chance.
Well, they can earn their chance winning at home, which is a big advantage to be able to play your conference tournament at your home court.
Sheffer in and out.
And there's Smith again, putting the body on Marshall to get that rebound.
Abdullah to Crozier. That's just inside of the 3. That's a 2. Oh, wait a minute.
Well, Jim, you got 2 lines out here. He was inside the NBA 3, but outside the college 3.
I thought his foot was on the line, but maybe I got confused. I know late last night.
Now what's happened? You've got Calhoun out of the coaching box, but he has the right to go out because he's protesting the call.
He thinks it was a 2, in fact. I thought his foot was inside of the second line.
Ollie looking to penetrate again and kick out.
Long rebound to Marshall. Now he's blocked, but he's fouled as well. So to the line for 2. Let's check it out, Billy. I thought it was a 2. Let's see. Crozier will shoot it, and there you see the NBA. And yes,
you're right, Jim. Let's see. Yep, on the release. You're exactly right, Jim. And Calhoun came up to the scorer's table, which he has the right to do. Couldn't get the officials' attention. But that one wasn't even close, Jimmy.
He had both feet over the line, in fact. So now Travis Knight, the 7-footer from Sandy, Utah, just south of Salt Lake City. He'll come in for Hayward. And to the line for 2 is Donell Marshall and Billy here at Madison Square Garden. He has made 35 straight free throws.
Correct. He had 20 for 20 against St. John's, which is a new record in the regular season. Then he had 10 for 10 yesterday and came in with 5 before that.
That dates back to last year. 36 now. And by the way, they just changed it. They've changed it to a 2-point bucket. So they got it right.
Good job by my partner and also Jim Calhoun and his assistants and the referees.
Oh, there goes the streak.
Well, we talked about it. It always happens. Now, against his zone, Abdullah is not going to shoot. He has been a woeful 3-point shooter throughout his career, so they know that. Now they go back to the man-to-man.
9-8 UConn. 9-8 UConn, just to straighten out that scoring situation. Marshall, is that another block?
Boy, he is so tough inside defensively. I mean, we know what he can do on offense, but he is an awesome defensive shot blocker.
That's now 4 shots that have been blocked. No, 5. UConn has blocked 5 shots in Providence so far.
Wow, Sheffer turned the corner. I thought Phelps had excellent position on him. Sheffer's got the good legs. He's strong. And, Jim, as you mentioned, he's not a freshman in terms of age. We're talking about a 22-year-old guy that has played in top international basketball.
And they called out a block on Phelps, his first. And team foul number 6. Donell with a 3.
And that's, of course, where he can take Simpkins to school out there. It's very difficult for a big man to go out and rush at it because he'll go by with his quickness.
Smith gives it up. Phelps. And 1.
Second great effort shot by a Providence player today. Simpkins before on the prayer. That one was just good power move.
That was against Donell Marshall, his first.
I thought we were looking at block number 6 there, Jim. How he ever got that up. It was a triple pump. Look at that release.
It's up there for a while, wasn't it?
Nice camera angle to see almost what he was facing in terms of the defensive hands in front of him.
So Marshall picks up number 1. And unable to cash in on the 3-point play so far. Williams has come back in for the Friars. He's number 55, and he has 2 fouls already.
Right, 2 fouls and nothing offensively, Jim. He's their leading scorer. As I said, a young man from Vincennes Junior College. Once he adjusted to Division I ball, played extremely well.
Donny walked. And a timeout on the floor. UConn and Providence, 12-10. The number 1 seed leads it. Have already been determined. And there's your list.
How about that Shenandoah Valley matchup between James Madison and Liberty? Huh? Lefty Drizel back in.
How about that? Liberty and Justice for All.
That's right. We saw on that list, Jim, Ohio University, the team you talked about, having beaten Connecticut this year, won their tournament. It'd be a tough out for somebody in the NCAA tournament.
Only Ohio, Syracuse, and Villanova beat UConn this year. UConn 27-3.
Ray Allen into the game now. We haven't seen Jim Calhoun go to his bench, and that bench is averaging 26 a game. So we'll see the beginning of it now.
Watch Allen. Here he is, 34. Second leading score. Too strong on the layup. And then he grabbed the hold of the arm. So the foul on Ray Allen.
Jim, I think Allen was just surprised to be that wide open against a team that plays so tough down and around the paint. explosive score.
Boy, Florida up 13 at the half over Alabama. And how about Northwestern as Bob Dickey, our producer, points that one out, a Northwestern graduate.
That was a tough shot. Phelps over Marshall. Great tap by Williams.
Back out though. Sheffer three-pointer. Real scrappy action here.
You can see with Michael Smith on the bench, little difference in terms of the power inside lacking.
Crozier on the drive, and Knight pulls it down.
This game's a little bit too fast a pace for Providence, Jim. I mean, it's really up and down. Sheffer's so calm out there, isn't he?
Donny Marshall, no, with the left hand.
Great rebound by Williams.
Abdullah on the wing. Phelps to Crozier, this time a three-way.
That was touched by Marshall, and he's off and running.
There he is, Donell Marshall.
Jim, I think he got a piece of that ball, and of course when he plays out on the perimeter defensively, he goes for the shot block and then just takes off for the other end.
That gives UConn the lead, 14-12. Just under 10 minutes to go, first half.
Got to get Williams on track.
Crozier tries to set him up, but can't go into him. 5 on the shot clock. Abdullah. Oh, that should be basket interference.
I thought he touched it. That was Simpkins. Referee said no, but I'm sure he got a piece of that.
Definitely did, and it was just over the top of the cylinder, but they allow it, so the game is tied. Knight.
Crozier doing a great job off the bench, not only offensively, but coming down the lane to get that rebound.
Crozier, he likes this spot. Off again.
Might be a little tired, Jimmy. He's been working so hard defensively. It's taken away his shooter's legs.
Donny Marshall in and out with a three. Back out to him, though.
Hey, that's gonna be on Donell Marshall. He was looking to post up down inside. Phelps did a wise job, drew the charge on him.
That's the second on Donell Marshall. And you tell me, is this basket interference, Billy?
Excellent drive, and you'll see the ball hits the rim, goes up there without question. Without question.
And you know what? The thing is, it was going in anyway.
Yeah. Well, that usually happens on those. You can see, without question, the ball was slapped back in there by Simpkins.
But the basket allowed. So now Providence with possession and a chance to take the lead.
Those 2 fouls on Marshall could be a problem. He might not be quite so aggressive now with his shot blocking. Out here man-to-man, not a problem guarding Simpkins, who goes long.
And Simpkins with 8.
Set play, Jim, a back pick on Donell Marshall. Nobody helping out on the weak side.
Brian Fair, number 31 in for UConn. Marshall nails the three-pointer to give UConn the lead back at 17-16.
Well, there's that versatility. He plays like a 7-footer and steps out the top of the key.
Simpkins underneath. He got position as Marshall, with the 2 fouls, didn't play him that tight. Simpkins with 10.
Well, what you have is Simpkins wanted to take him down in the box. Marshall wanted to take him out on the top of the key. Both playing to their strengths.
Friars in front by 1.
How about that screen by Hayward?
Sets up Fair for the 3. Hayward. Well, loose ball back out to Ollie. Too strong with the left hand.
I tell you, Williams, Simpkins, and Smith are some powerful rebounds.
Simpkins on the dunk. He has 10, and Providence leads the number 1 seed in the Big East by 1.
Providence leads by 1. It's been a busy year this year in the Big East. They just announced expansion plans. I'm here with Mike Tranghese, Commissioner of the Big East. Mike, why did you reject 14 teams and go with 12?
Well, as the basketball schools just felt 14 was just too many to run a basketball league, and that's basically what it came down to.
Do you think you might lose now, Temple and Virginia Tech, from your football package?
No, we've offered the same opportunity to Temple and Virginia Tech to continue with us in football.
Well, thanks, Mike. All basketball schools are doing pretty well here.
Thanks, Les.
Back to you, Jim.
Okay, here it's 18-17 Providence. Maciek Zielinski, number 24, in for Providence. Young man from Poland puts the jumper up. And a rebound by Allen.
Ray Allen has not yet exploded, Jim. See if he can get off track.
We heard your cue. And the three puts the Huskies ahead. Zielinski, pull-up jumper.
Nobody under. Michael Smith not down court. Providence cannot afford to shoot with no one under.
Traveling. And by the way, following up on that interview with Mike Tranghese, look for Rutgers now, folks. Rutgers, one of the last untapped resources on the national level, I think. Putting them into this conference, I expect some big things out of them.
Jim, it's interesting, when Dave Gavitt was putting the league together, Rutgers is one of the teams that he wanted. Nice block by Abdullah. Second time today that Connecticut has been taken advantage of by Abdullah by throwing that ball inside from way out on the perimeter. It's an amazing little player when you look at his stats. Great turnover assist ratio, doesn't look to shoot, but still very valuable. And strong. What little Muggsy Bogues do you think of when you think of him and his style of play? When he gets down on defense like Muggsy, so quick, can't steal the ball from him.
Sheffer on the line, tipped up, Allen underneath. I think he's bigger than Muggsy.
Yeah, he is, a little taller.
Michael Smith hasn't scored in this game either, Billy, and he had 25 yesterday.
But he's going to let the game to come to him in terms of points. He's going to get him off of missed shots.
Outside three, off the rim and over the backboard. So Brown misses.
Here we're going to see, Jim, what I was talking about. Watch Abdullah fire that ball right through the lane.
Donell Marshall with 2 fouls and 9 points. With 5 minutes to go first half. 22-20. UConn, a #1 seed in the Big East tournament for the first time ever. When they won the tournament back in '90, they actually tied for the league championship, but they were the #2 seed. Syracuse was the 1.
Right, they both 12-4 that year, but they beat Syracuse in the final to move to that #1 ranking.
#1 seed later on in the NCAA.
Right.
So the arrow belongs to UConn. They brought in Boo Willingham.
It's kind of interesting, Jim, when you start talking about a team that has 5 guys averaging in double figures, only has 1 today with a point.
Piece of the hand.
Yep. Now, one of the things, if you are a small player, and obviously you're going to be down on that floor, you're not going to block shots on the top of a man's shot. You're going to block it on the way up. That time, Abdullah got caught.
So for Abdullah, that's his first, and they're in the bonus now. They call it a 2-shot foul, though.
Yeah, on the way up. In the motion of the shot.
Yep.
Ollie this year with a chance to break the all-time Connecticut single-season assist record.
He could do it today.
Yep.
He needed 7 coming into the day to break the record of Tate George. He gets 1 of 2 at the line. 3-point UConn lead. Ollie, by the way, 4 assists in the first half, so on his way to getting the record today.
Nice screen by Simpkins.
Phelps off the bench now with 8. Ollie, too strong a pass, maybe. Willingham
should have caught that, Jim.
Phelps, three-pointer, gives Providence the lead.
Boy, a great job by Phelps because he was right on the line and pulled that toe back. Again, Abdullah pushing the ball up. He knows where everybody is on that floor. Give Simpkins some credit, not only for his 10 points, Jim, but he's doing a pretty good job on Marshall. Not letting him explode with one of those 30, 40-point games, at least at this point.
25-23 Providence. That's a wall. That's got to be. And they call it.
Nice D.
So the Huskies are behind by 2. UConn trailing has made 7 field goals and they've turned it over 6 times. Jim Nance with Billy Packer at Madison Square Garden. 3:30 left in the first half.
Jim, the game at Providence this year, Providence had a 2-point lead at halftime.
That ended up being a 1-point UConn win. Providence 18-10 on the season. Win or lose, they're in, don't you think, Billy?
I think so. An experienced ball club.
Down, in and out. And Rudy Johnson in for the first time. Pulls down that rebound. Rudy Johnson, number 23.
It's almost a post position by committee. I mean, the guys come in and out. There's a solid screen by Hayward. Not going to look to shoot from that range. Rudy Johnson, another one of those players of the years that Connecticut gets, Jeff.
Yep, beat from Florida.
Oh, how about that potential block?
He almost took the ball to the head and everything. Michael Smith with his first. Near the conclusion of this game, Billy and I will be selecting a Chevrolet Player of the Game. Chevrolet donates a $1,000 scholarship to the General Scholarship Fund of each school. That's the 8th. Well, it was a shooting situation. 8th team foul against the Friars. So Hayward at the line for 2.
Here comes Smith across the lane. Hayward feels that, hey, I've got an easy one here. I'm ready to go up. And all of a sudden, pow. Jim, we get back to something that's not being called or interpreted by the referees the same way I think the intent of the rule book was. The severity of the act. I mean, that was more than a block by Smith that time. He came across there to wipe it out. Looks like Florida is beginning to roll. Very quiet team, Jim, but not many people. I've seen them play on TV a time or two, but I really, for a good club, I really haven't seen them on the national scene very much.
Ray Allen then for Ollie. How about that other semifinal? Arkansas and Kentucky.
Well, the two, the East-West division of the SEC creates that matchup. Some catch.
And one. Michael Brown in there with the Giants, but this one was called against Sheffer, his first.
Jim, it is so difficult to catch a ball that's got that kind of speed on it when you're going right at the ball and yet still trying to concentrate that after you catch it, you're going to try to put it up. That was really an outstanding play by Brown.
So the former ball boy for the Syracuse Orangemen, Michael Brown with the three-point play. That gives Providence a 3-point edge.
Brown had 6 threes, 19 points in 24 minutes in that 1-point loss Providence had, so he's had some success against Connecticut.
Good battle here, Donny Marshall and Zielinski. And Donny Marshall gets the jumper to go, his first points.
Well, those are big points because Donell is on the bench right now. They've got to get points from somebody. You think Allen first.
And a near steal by Johnson.
Ooh, how about Brown's hands? We saw the catch he made before, and how about him scooping that ball up?
That's why he leads Providence in steals, too. Smith blocked. Blocked by Hayward and Allen. Oh, they block some shots, don't they?
Well, and the thing about their clubs, they've got so many guys that are capable of blocking the shot. We talked about Donell Marshall setting records, but got some other guys go up there as well.
Allen. Phelps up high, but he couldn't control it. Donny Marshall with the loose change.
That's a tough break for Phelps. Had the ball in his hand, just couldn't control it. Had such an effort going up to grab it.
The last minute of the first half, and the Huskies have regained the lead by 29-28.
What do you think? Michael Smith touched the ball down low one time.
Well, he's setting a pick here.
Yeah, pick and roll.
Zielinski, long-range three. And Allen has it. And Sheffer smartly looks back at the clock and says, hey, we'll take the final one.
Well, they've got to give it up.
Well, they'll have 8-second differential.
Yep, they're going to have to give it up. They can't hold it.
Hayward. So now Providence can get that last shot. If they can score here, they'll go to the locker room with the lead.
Well, Brown and Phelps, you would think, would be the two guys shooting. Abdullah probably try to get some dribble penetration and kick on out. Smith going for the follow-up. Here you go. Dribble penetration, kick out.
Brown. Donny Marshall secures the rebound. Providence two top guns, Smith and Williams, did not score in the first half. And the Huskies lead by only one. They may need this game a victory to lock up that #1 seed, most figure in the East. That's the end of the first half with the score. Connecticut 29, Providence 28. Pat O'Brien, Bill Raftery along next with Pennzoil at the half. After this word and a message from your local station.
And limitless opportunity. Upon her all-inclusive 105-acre campus, Providence College hosts over 3,800 students representing 35 states and 15 foreign countries. Providence College, celebrating continued academic and athletic excellence.
Performer. And he is gifted. Jerome, one of those so-called imports, has a kind of a different perspective on life and the educational process. And in this case, you can't look it up. Inside the University of Connecticut bookstore, as expected, there are textbooks that try and teach students about the world. There are plenty of books about the Middle East, but none can fully capture all there is to know about this volatile region. For Donell Sheffer, life in the Mideast is not an academic exercise, it is home. Donell hails from Israel, and this freshman guard has helped change the balance of power in the Big East. After serving his compulsory Israeli army duty, Sheffer was recruited by coach Jim Calhoun, who saw him play in an international tournament in Europe and convinced him to come on home to Connecticut.
Oh, I thought this would be a good place for me to develop as a player, and I would have an opportunity to play.
He has a sense of the game, and you know, we talk about the nuances of the game, the intricacies of the game. He has probably as good an understanding for young basketball players as any guy I've ever been involved with.
Well, basketball is easy to understand. Religious hatred is not.
The massacre in the mosque, setting off bloody riots throughout Israel's occupied territories.
The recent round of senseless violence and the renewal of tensions has weighed heavily on Sheffer's mind.
When he came to me and said, by the way, you heard what happened about the massacre, and we started talking, and there's no question, a great deal of concern. He won't show it as much, but we've had 5 or 6 discussions about it.
I'm worried sometimes, but I'm following the news, and I'm talking with the home.
His biggest thing was he wants peace, and he wants this to end, and he thought it really hurts the peace efforts.
And so Donell Sheffer is about to experience March Madness for the first time. He already knows about madness in the Middle East. And while no doubt some scribe will depict some Connecticut tournament game as a life or death struggle, Donell Sheffer will hear that tired cliche and will know better. On the court, he is always on the lookout for an opening, for that easy bucket. Off the court, he's always on the lookout for an opening of a different kind, an opening for peace.
Like everybody, I want the peace progress to to get better, and hopefully one day there will be peace in the Middle East.
Mental toughness and a team workout, and here's a sincere guy that hopes the rest of the world is as peaceful as his existence is here at UConn.
Yeah, you got to know. Reminder that it starts for real on Thursday.
Coverage of the road to the Final Four is sponsored by Toyota and their full line of quality cars and trucks. Toyota, I love what you do for me. Gillette Sensor and the Gillette Series. Gillette, the best a man can get. And by Dean Witter. Dean Witter measures success one investor at a time.
Well, it's a tight ball game as we had forecasted really before this got underway. UConn's largest lead was 6. Providence one time led by 3. Only a 1-point margin at the half. Jim Nance with Billy Packer. And Billy, don't you think UConn needs to win this game to assure itself of a #1 seed in the NCAAs?
Well, you can look at it 2 ways, Jim, and I would say the answer to that may be yes, and I'd probably say yes. And the answer also is, how about Providence? Do they have to win this to be in? And if so, how high could they be seeded?
I think they're in. I think they're in even if they lose this game. Let's take a look at the first half numbers. And you see UConn's percentage way down today.
And they shot, of course, right at about 45% in these 2 previous games. Look at the points in the paint. Providence had expected very strong down there, despite the fact that 6 shots have been blocked.
Only 1 Friar point at the line. 11 opportunities for UConn. Phelps 5 for 5 from the floor, off the bench with 11. And Donell Marshall, as you pointed out, Billy, only had 5 field goal attempts in the first half. He leads with 9 on the Husky side.
Simpkins did a great job on him, and a real surprising stat to me is bench points. Providence got 15 off the bench, and you mentioned what a great job Phelps did. And Connecticut, which normally does so well off the bench, only had 5.
Providence, with a win, would advance to the Big East championship game for the first time in school history.
No Providence coach in the history of the Big East has had a winning record in the Big East tournament.
Simpkins fouled on the way up with the dunk. Simpkins in the first half muscled his way to 10 points. That was the first on Hayward. Providence last year, though, Billy, kind of thought at the Big East tournament that they were in the NCAA field, and they were the odd team out.
Yep. And you really, you often would like to see if they, matter of fact, they ought to print a journal after every 10 years, let a few years go by. I really think Providence was probably the last team not selected last year to the NCAA.
They ended up coming back here to the Garden, to the NIT semifinals.
Right, did well. Great man-to-man again in the second half.
Tipped out to Abdullah.
Marshall wanted to dunk that one.
On the baseline, short. Tipped in by Eric Williams. There's his first 2.
Well, they had 3 Providence starters did not score in the first half. And the one that'd be the biggest concern for them is Williams, who did not score, and he's their leading scorer.
Donny Marshall misses. Tipped up. They're going to take it the other way. Hayward with his second. Both of them in this half.
Well, Williams did not score in the first half, but watch him glide in here, get his hands on the ball, tap it in. Jim, I mentioned Vincennes Junior College. Robert McAdoo went to Vincennes and was part, of course, of a great North Carolina team the one year he was there.
Led them to the Final Four. By the way, that's 3 on Hayward, and that's a traveling call against Eric Williams. So 3 on Hayward, not 2, and he'll sit. Travis Knight in to replace him.
But again, there's where Jim Calhoun has 15 fouls and 3 men to use in that pivot position. Does not count on any one guy to have to play that many minutes.
Marshall. Well, he was 2 for 2 in the first half from 3-point land. On the drive, Simpkins.
Hey, that's Marshall's 3rd.
Indeed.
And what happened right there was just some great play. Abdullah on the bounce pass, Smith on the catch, and then to control himself. I mean, we're talking about a 6'8", 235-pounder. Controlled himself on the break and made that pass.
So Donell will go to the bench with 3, replaced by Ray Allen. Marshall with 3, Hayward with 3, and Simpkins will shoot a pair.
And Jim, in the 2 games against Providence, Donell Marshall scored 55 points, 28 in one and 27 in the other. So this is a big loss to have him sit down this early.
Has 9 points today. That's 4 free throws in this half for Simpkins, and the Friars have scored the first 6 points of the second half. And on the line, he had the back foot on the line, Ray Allen.
Well, the referee had the best angle at the play. We see it a lot. A guy goes down, wants to be on the defense. Here's the pass. We'll see it right here. Yes, sir, without question.
I remember Brian Reese at Carolina doing it in the last minute of the national championship game last year.
Now we've got a major shot blocker and scorer out of the game. See how Providence attacks.
Smith got his first bucket. So Williams and Smith, scoreless in the first half, each get on the board here in the early stages of the second stanza. 7-point lead, their largest.
Jim, look at what's happening. Jim Calhoun saying, you know what? I've got to get him back in the game and take the gamble. Donell Marshall up and ready to go back in.
Donny Marshall, and a blocking call against Michael Smith.
What we may see the rest of the way is Connecticut go into a zone defense, try to protect Marshall a little bit. But he's such an aggressive shot blocker down inside, he's really going to have to pull back some.
Knight out as Marshall returns.
And, you know, I think a nice piece of coaching here by Jim Calhoun. He sensed the run, said, you know, I can't let this game get away from me here early. So he goes back in and takes a gamble and see if he can get maybe 5 or 6 minutes out of Marshall now without any fouls on him.
Meanwhile, Donny hits them both for UConn's first points of the second half.
Throw my theory out the window. What do? Instead of going back in a passive zone, they come out press.
Williams pull up jumper.
Hey, great play there to pull up at that foul line instead of charging.
Soft touch, too.
Yep.
10-2 run to start the second half for the Friars.
Williams had 22 in that big win against Georgetown in the snow-delayed game.
Donny Marshall. That's a 3. He's the emotional leader of this team. Cuts it to 4.
Oh, those were 2 big baskets he made. Now, why not take a chance and get the ball to Dickey Simpkins a little bit?
Abdullah, 3-pointer, no good. But Smith,
he can rebound. I think you want to go ahead and force Donell Marshall to stop Dickey Simpkins at least one time down the floor. Maybe pick up that 4th foul on him.
Rick Barnes, give him credit, found a way to get his 2 guys
off the side.
Yeah, in the scoring column. They each come out, scored a couple of hoops.
Nice solid screen by Marshall. And a nice recovery by Simpkins. We're seeing some fine D here.
And boy, I tell you what, when it's one-on-one, go with Michael Smith to pull down the board, and the to Simpkins.
I have not seen a better lob pass this year
than that one.
Oh, that was absolutely incredible. Talk about the catch and the putback, but it was right on the money.
Timeout by UConn. Providence with its largest lead. Billy.
Well, Jim, the reason this was such a beautiful pass, fundamentally, look at the rotation on the ball. Easy to catch. Perfect distance, perfect height. Realizing what his teammate was capable of doing. Abdullah, that's one of the great passes of the year. Under pressure against a team that likes to run. Well executed.
That's why Abdullah led the Big East in assists. And 6th in the nation, a category led by Jason Kidd.
Boy, nice switch inside between Simpkins and Smith to try to keep that ball away from Marshall.
Sheffer.
Oh, there's some strong hands. Ooh. Did you notice that Michael Smith hit the line like a fullback and kept his legs churning. I mean, he was going right through the
Still
chair.
backing in.
Exactly.
Daron.
I mean, he was looking to wipe them out. Great rebounder from Washington, D.C. Had to sit out his first year academically. Has done well in school since. Will graduate this spring.
On time.
Yep. And has really turned it on. The Big East leading rebounder 3 years in a row.
He went over 1,000 rebounds in his career yesterday.
He knows Hayward's not going to take that shot.
Marshall. And they count it, but it's going the other way. A foul against UConn, against Donny Marshall, but the basket by Donell will count.
Watch this, Michael Smith. When he hits the line of scrimmage here, watch the feet keep churning. Boom, boom, boom. Here we go. He's still churning. Well, this Providence team is not in awe of Connecticut. Forget about the rankings here. This is an experienced team.
And with that experience, I'm not sure they'll be in awe of anybody they face in the NCAAs.
There's that same back screen on Marshall, but Hayward picks it up that time.
Eric Williams, a soft touch.
Well, see, Marshall cannot afford dangerous pass here.
It's going the other way.
Jim, Marshall cannot afford to go ahead and try to block. I think normally he would have blocked that shot on Williams, but he can't afford to do that now. Ooh, there's some strong hands. Got fouled.
Smith will follow. And Providence leads by 10.
We're looking at a determined basketball team right now.
Three-pointer. Touch glass by Providence.
Jim, another thing that's causing some problems for Donell Marshall is Dickey Simpkins is not afraid to go out there on those three-point shots. He's 6'10". He's got a hand way up in Donell's face, which he doesn't see often from that range. Marshall ought to put it on the floor and drive on himself.
Sheffer, short. Smith with another rebound.
You know why he's such a great rebounder? He gets underneath the ball instead of reaching for it.
Brown, 12-point lead. 20-7 start to the second half.
Got to get Ray Allen started here a little bit. Got to get him scoring some.
Had a great chance at a three-point play. Foul on Brown. And Allen to the line for a couple. And don't forget, this is only part one of doubleheader day at the Big East. Seton Hall and Georgetown. A berth loser out.
Well, I would agree, Jim. And another thing you have to think about, that was an aggressive game played last night by Seton Hall. Now they've got to play, this will be their third game in 3 days. And actually, you know, they played night game 2 days ago. So they've got 2 night games in a row and now a day game. Let's see what their legs look like in this second one.
Kevin Ollie, number 12, in for UConn as they go to a 1-3-1 zone.
Right. A way to protect Marshall a little bit, and what they've been getting is killed on the offensive glass. And they'll really have to put a box out on Michael Smith in this defense. As here he comes from the other side.
Ollie will push it forward. Donell, look out.
Beautiful jump shooter.
He has 13 now. A 12-point lead down to 8.
There's the 1-3-1 coming out the trap a little bit. Now, where does the perimeter shot come from here, Jim? Phelps.
Phelps is the one with Brown on the bench. Phelps is your best perimeter shooter. Stolen away by Ollie.
See, Michael Smith from 18 feet is not a threat.
Donell baseline, and a big call here. They call it a block.
Now that's what I thought he could do to Simpkins. Show him the jump shot, drive on by. But what is trouble there with 3 fouls is you always take the chance, a guy coming over from the weak side to draw the charge. I think Rick Barnes, looking at this zone, Jim's got to change his lineup a little bit because he doesn't have the perimeter shooters out on the floor to go against the 1-3-1.
Marshall for 2. He set the season. the single-season Big East record for most total points in the year, breaking the record of
Eric Murdoch.
Eric Murdoch of Providence. Been away from you for a while. I thought I'd warm you up with a chippy.
Yeah, that's right. That was an easy one. But, you know, you talk about a guy like this, Jim, breaking the record for blocks and then breaking the record for scoring. You'd say, well, he must be some kind of a postman. And here he is, a guy that plays on the perimeter. Very impressive.
Oh, they've sliced that lead in half. 48-42, Providence.
I still think you've got to make a change in the lineup right now. Plus, the guys have played so hard, they could use the rest as well. They're not facing his zone very well. So you got three guys out there that won't take a jump shot.
Well, here's Phelps, three-pointer. He will.
That's the one they have. Marshall's, he's starting to warm up now. He wants the ball.
Yeah, I was going to say that, Billy. You can tell he's got that look now. He says, let me take care of some business here.
Itchy feet.
So a foul called against Providence. Simpkins, his first. Phelps has 14 off the bench. Friars by 9. Outscoring UConn by 10 in this half. And your mission, Mr. Phelps, should you decide to accept it, come off the bench and be perfect today.
He really has been. And you know, Jim, the interesting thing, yesterday you had Providence out rebounding Villanova 42-29. They have the best rebounding margin in the league, but in the first half they were out rebounded 26-14. Now they're getting back on their game with a 2-1 rebound margin in the second half over Connecticut.
Marshall, three-pointer. Allen up high for the rebound. Last touch by the Friars.
Boy, incredible range by Donell Marshall on that shot, but again, Simpkins way out there and gets that hand up on him. I mentioned itchy feet, Jim. You can sense it too. Marshall, he's just getting quick with his feet now. You can see him lighten up with his eyes here, saying, hey, get the ball in my hands.
I'm starting to see that for the whole UConn team too. I think they realize now they've got a real challenge ahead. Down 9 with 11.5 to go. And that pass forced in and knocked away by Abdullah.
Abdullah there going, realizing they're trying to take him inside with Ollie. Set play. You know, Phelps has done the job on offense. He's done a pretty good job on Allen defensively as well.
Donell bangs home a 2.
Well, he just froze Simpkins that time because he put the ball on the floor. Let's look at the zone. They changed from the 1-3-1. They go back to a 2-3 zone now. I think a 2-3 gives Abdullah a little better chance to penetrate down the center. One perimeter shooter on the floor, and that's Phelps.
There he is. Still perfect. Oh, that's a 3.
But, you know, you can almost play these guys a box and one because Phelps the only guy going to take a jump shot.
Allen, got position.
Great play.
Yep, bought himself some time in the air.
Better turn around when Abdullah's coming down the court in that dribble.
Simpkins, 2 men around him, and Hayward came down on him, I believe. And it's for Hayward. That's his 4th. That's his 4th.
We see the Connecticut basket. Good feed on the inside. Here came Michael Smith over to make the block, and Allen just double clutched it. That was the 3rd time today we've seen Abdullah, Jim, fire the ball from out on the perimeter, high on the perimeter, down inside to create a good basket for a teammate. Although Simpkins didn't get the basket, he's on the line.
Hayward to the bench with his 4, replaced by Knight. Simpkins doing the job at the line in this half. He's 5 for 5 in the second half. And they've just brought in Austin Crozier.
No, I think that Rick Barnes sensing, hey, I've got to surround these zones a little bit because they're not going man-to-man. Now they've got the foul trouble on Marshall. So Crozier and Phelps given 2 perimeter shooters now.
Sheffer's in also for UConn after a short rest, and Marshall really warming up now.
And what he's doing, he's putting the ball on the floor, making the big man have to move a little bit. where he gains a big advantage. Might not be a bad idea to force him to put the ball on the floor and drive and then try to draw the charge on it, you know?
He's got 3 fouls.
Yep.
Williams pull up. Sheffer has it.
Good hit
on with the numbers. Ollie for 2.
That's Connecticut basketball right there. 1 point guard to the other.
Providence takes the timeout. UConn has cut into a 12-point lead. They've cut it to 6.
Oldsmobile. Smooth Busch beer and easy drinking Busch Light. And by Hertz. For business, for pleasure, nobody does it exactly like Hertz.
And Ollie up for 2. And it's a 6-point lead for Providence. Tomorrow, Selection Sunday, 6:30 Eastern Time. The live exclusive announcement first right here on CBS from Kansas City. Billy and I with Bill Rafter will be in the studios here in New York. We'll go through those brackets. It's a fun show, a fun-filled 30 minutes tomorrow, 6:30.
Connecticut comes back out man-to-man. Isn't it amazing whenever they press and Abdullah gets the ball, Connecticut says, hey, let's just back off this guy. Dribbles so low to the ground.
Finally missed his first of the day.
A set play coming off the screen, but it was a tough shot.
He had made his first 7. Ollie.
Whoa. We had a collision down there between Donny Marshall and Williams.
That's on Phelps, his 3rd. Going to overtime. Well, they're in overtime, and Northwestern leads Michigan 82-80. Florida on its way to advancing to the SEC championship game against the winner of Arkansas, Kentucky. Ollie to shoot 2 after the foul on Phelps.
Jim, you mentioned Arkansas. Pretty good day for Arkansas sports, the way they're going. #1 in basketball. Their indoor track team is leading the NCAA in indoor track and field. Supposed to be one of the great indoor track and field teams of all time. And, of course, John Daly not doing a bad job. Huh? There's a threesome for you.
Daly back on the PGA Tour and in contention down in Florida. Ollie, by the way, needs 1 more assist to set the all-time UConn record.
You sense the momentum going in another direction right now, don't you? It seems like Providence struggling to get off good shots.
I should say Ollie for the all-time single-season record with 1 more assist. Williams.
Boy, what a soft touch.
3 times in this half they've rolled around the rim and dropped for Aaron Williams. Williams, after being shut out in the first half, has 8 for the Friars.
See Marshall. Oh, nice move by Marshall. Get rid of it.
They swing it around quickly to the corner. And a 3-pointer by Sheffer. UConn has made its last 5 shots.
What made that is Donell Marshall giving up the ball when he realized he was being double-teamed. Great teamwork on his part. That's why Sheffer had a wide-open shot from the wing.
Abdullah touched by the Huskies last.
Good call. You see, even when he dribbles the ball, they play him to pass, not to shoot anything other than uncontested layup.
There he shoots. Oh, man.
Like I said, uncontested layups, Jim. That's all they give him. Some shot.
Yeah.
That's what
uncontested, right?
Must have been 6 or 7 bodies in his way. Donell Marshall is biding his time to get over.
Ollie as Abdullah reached in. Did they call it on Abdullah? Yes.
what Abdullah is saying to the official. How about calling it both ends here?
It's the third on Abdullah.
And now you see Connecticut going small. They're down 6. Could get it to 4. But they put a small team on the floor right now.
Ollie off the back of the rim. We'll have one more. 7:01 remaining. Could be a #1 seed in the East on the line here for the Huskies. If they go out in the semifinals, maybe the committee then drops the ACC champion into the 1 slot in the East. And that would open up maybe Arizona is the 1 in the West with the 2nd team from the ACC headed to the West.
They go small and they go man-to-man. I think it's time for Michael Smith to get in the offense. Against the zone, he was only used as a rebounder. They're there trying to post him up.
Phelps tried to give it up, and last touch by Providence.
Well, any team that's had the season that Connecticut has will have periods where they can put the defensive stop on you, and that's what they're doing right now to Providence. They're not giving them any easy baskets.
How about Michigan? This is an important game for Michigan today. Trying to get a piece of that Big Ten title.
Hey, and Missouri down. They really almost went to overtime against Colorado. Now down in their postseason tournament.
It's a 2-point game.
Jim Calhoun makes the strategic moves, goes small, surrounding Providence with a good perimeter game. Providence going to have to counter by going inside. It's Allen on Williams. That would be a pretty good move as well. Not too late.
Allen stole it. He'll challenge Abdullah, and Abdullah reached in, and it bounced off of Allen last.
How about that defensive play?
With a chance to tie on that breakaway.
Jim, you can see what Providence wants to do. They're trying to get the ball down in the low post to Smith, and they just can't get him free. Donnie Marshall's guarding him. Now they go back to their motion offense. Terrific basketball game.
It has been from the start. Under 10 on the shot clock. Brown right over Sheffer. Huskies want to push it up.
Ollie almost turned that one over. He wanted to make the pass. He was able to keep his hand on top of the ball so it wasn't a palm.
Under 5 minutes to go. Winner advances to Sunday's championship game.
Hadn't been a lot of substituting here in the second half.
For the lead, Sheffer short. Donell saves it. Donell flips it in and out. Touched by UCONN.
Williams got a piece of it, couldn't hold the rebound, but he knocked it off Sheffer's hands. Another thing we have to think about here, Jim, is fatigue. These guys have been going hot and heavy now this entire second half. The key players have not come out.
Only 7 Providence turnovers today. That's outstanding.
And we talked about their turnover assist ratio, and that's because Abdullah has the ball in his hands so much.
Simpkins off balance, and they got him before, I guess maybe on the way up.
Yeah, I think it's going to be Allen.
It is Allen. It's a 2-shot situation. For Allen, his second. And Simpkins, as we chronicled earlier, 6 for 6 from the line, all in this half.
Well, this is a club that basically works in the paint. Their opponent shot more than 100 shots more than they did from the three-point line. So everything that they do, they want to do right down inside. Nice touch, huh?
Beautiful touch. 4-point lead now for the Friars.
I still think they get Marshall the ball in shooting range and then let him put it on the floor. He can go by Simpkins. Donell is biding his time right now. 1-4 clear out.
Allen, baseliner. Oh, the rebound to Donny Marshall. Nice touch by Providence. Timeout on the floor. An official's timeout, TV timeout. UConn will have the basketball when we come back, trailing by 4. Billy Packer, Madison Square Garden, New York. The Big East semifinal, game 1, and Providence leads by 4. Each team with 2 timeouts. The next foul will put each team into the 1-1, and the arrow belongs to the Huskies. UConn possibly playing for that #1 seed in the East.
Jim,
Providence trying to advance to the Big East final for the first time ever.
Jim, so many people say these postseason conference tournaments mean nothing anymore. I haven't seen any indication of that today as far as the effort from these two teams. And the execution. Like they're trying to get Allen posted up down low.
Well, it's certainly one of the best Big East tournament games we've seen in the last 3 or 4 years.
Yep.
Rattles out. Look at Sheffer go for the rebound. No call, though.
How about that? It's a huge rebound right over the back. A pretty good block and out job by Brown.
Northwestern leading Michigan by 7 in the last minute of overtime.
No easy outs in the Big Ten.
Michael Brown with his 4th foul. It's a 2-shot situation. That may drop Michigan back to where in the seeds?
I don't know if it's going to drop them at all, Jim, but what I think it is going to do is going to put that 7th team in the Big Ten in the NCAA tournament, because I think they're going to respect that league for how deep it was this year.
Sheffer nails them both.
Huge rebound by Sheffer. That was all Providence.
So Brown out with the 4 fouls. Phelps in. Phelps having a huge day off the bench with 17.
And again, notice the respect for Abdul. He gets the ball in his hands. The defense goes back. Connecticut stays man-to-man. Williams has been quiet for a while, Jim. Trying to get some inside screening.
Phelps has to take it. Oh, that's a 2.
Sensational shot, because Sheffer was right in his face.
Underneath. I thought this had no chance at all, just trying to get a shot off before the shot clock expired.
Jim, Phelps has had an incredible day, but this may be the best shot he made all day. Sheffer was right there. Almost touched his hands on the release and still drained it.
4 seconds were on the shot clock, actually. Williams picks up his 3rd. And 1 more now for Allen as he hits the front end of a 1-and-1.
Allen 5 times this year, Rookie of the Week in the Big East, but Sheffer beat him out for Rookie of the Year. But certainly those 2 great additions to Jim Calhoun.
2-point lead, 2:19 to go. And last touch by Sheffer. Providence led in this half 48-36.
I love the spacing on Providence in this inbound situation. So tough to get the ball away from Abdullah. If there was ever a place to trap him, it would have been in that corner.
As you say, they back away.
Yep. They've had 3 losses this year in the last 30 seconds, this Providence team.
Well, 3 times where they led with 30 seconds ago and they ended up losing. Phelps again. Goodness.
And I thought he got fouled in addition. Split the seam.
Got to give him the Chevy MVP now from that side.
Unbelievable performance.
21 off the bench.
Well, we said that the Connecticut's bench produces 26 points a game. He's done it almost by himself.
Big shot here. Rebounded by Allen.
Ollie might have stepped.
Three-pointer. Down the one. With 1:15 to go. 17 for Allen off the bench.
A young man from South Carolina showing some range on that shot.
Timeout, Providence. And in a frenzy, there's Father Fergus. Northwestern upsets Michigan in overtime.
Jim, might not be bad to lose the last game in the regular season. Al McGuire did it in '77, won a national championship. Raleigh Massimino.
Villanova, they got
Massimino did it. North Carolina last year, lost to Georgia Tech.
Here we have 50 seconds to go. Providence leads by 1. Phelps unconscious.
Clock stops, obviously, but at 45-6, Providence in a position, get the ball back this time without giving up a three. They'll be able to hold it for the last shot.
Sheffer going, got it, 3 to tie.
It's a 2-shot.
Oh, they're calling it a 2. It's been changed to a 2.
Boy, you talk about, that's the second one today that's been changed. Jim Calhoun going timeout.
He wants to talk that over about that 2 with John Cahill.
Oh, a nice piece of officiating here. Well, you knew this was in, Jim. We had the perfect angle on it, and there's the toe on the line. He drained it.
The other officials had signaled a 3.
Jim, we've got 31-3 to go. How about this strategy? Put the ball in Abdullah's hands and tell him, keep dribbling. They'll be getting the ball out of the end line. Obviously, you got to get it inbounds against this tough Connecticut press. But once he's got it, you almost feel that Connecticut will have to foul. Otherwise, Abdullah will keep it.
Each team with 1 timeout. They had a game earlier this season at Providence. They came down to a last-second shot. Well, it's about 2 seconds to go in that game, and Kevin Ollie drove the length of the court for the Huskies and won it. Let's show it to you, Billy.
Here comes Ollie crossing half court, and nobody stops him.
Pretty nifty move, though. A tough angle.
Reminds me of a play by a guy coming up in the next game, Mr. Caver. Remember that long drive he made to beat Georgetown when he was a sophomore?
He had a couple of game winners back his sophomore year.
And there was the attempt to pull it out, and it doesn't go.
Now, ready for action. Able to run the baseline, and they get it into Michael Brown's hands.
I can't believe they don't get the ball in Abdullah's hands.
Do a reach in, and Sheffer thought he might have reached in there and gotten all ball, but they call the foul on Sheffer.
Well, here you have a 77% free throw shooter going to the line. Abdullah is nearly a 69% free throw shooter.
Well, that's only the 7th against UConn, so a 1-and-1 for Michael Brown.
In the huge win that Providence had over Arizona, one of the great wins the Big East had that particular year, Brown was 7 for 8 from the foul line to seal that win.
Well, he can't seal it with this one because a 3 could tie, but he certainly would make it a difficult trip for the Huskies. Providence perfect from the line in this half, 9 out of 9. Rebound to Marshall, a 2 to tie, a 3 will win it. Puts a fair three-pointer. Back to the rim. Tipped up and out to Simpkins. And reached in by Donell Marshall.
That's Marshall's fourth. Jim, I was really surprised with that much time on the line down two. Why you don't go inside? You know, get a better shot than that. Fair has been coming. He's coming off the bench. He is a scorer. But you'd have to question that shot selection. Now he's going to go out, Ollie back in. Hey, I like what Jim Calhoun's doing. He's thinking down the road, though. He told him, good shot. Patted him on the head.
1-and-1 for Simpkins, and he is 8 of 8 in this half.
Smith
tipped up. Huskies will have a chance. Allen on the drive. Pull up two.
They call a foul.
No, they call a double dribble. Ball game's over. Providence into the final.
First time in the school's history.
This is a senior ball club at Providence, and these seniors will close out their careers. Well, of course, they have the NCAA tournament to follow, but they can always say, we went to the Big East Championship game, and they'll play the winner of Seton Hall, Georgetown, which comes up next. Chevrolet players of the game are Rob Phelps from Providence, off the bench, 10 out of 11. 23 points, and Ray Allen off the bench from UConn was 17. Check in the amount of $1,000 donated to each school.
Jim, I didn't see this double dribble. Let's see where it comes. Puts it down. Oh, I see. Yeah, he did pick it up, and then he carried it and start walking again. Good call.
So Providence will play on Sunday, and look out next week as well. This will be a dangerous team, Billy, in the NCAA.
Tough rebounders.
UConn may have lost itself its #1 seed. And the final score is Providence 69, UConn 67. Next, we'll take you to our New York studio with Pat O'Brien and Bill Raftery after this message and a word from your local station.
For your favorite. Along with the traveling man, Bill Raftery, welcoming you to our continuing adventure along the road to the Final Four. Coming up, we'll talk live with Tom Butters, the chairman of the tournament of the afternoon, starting with the Big East semifinal. You just saw here on CBS a thriller. Providence beats Connecticut 69-67. And let's go back down to Madison Square Garden for some of today's heroes, standing by with Leslie Visser. Hi, Leslie.
Hi, Pat. You're right. Not many people outside maybe of the Providence faithful thought that these guys would be standing here today. Congratulations to all of you. Rick Barnes, how did you beat the second-ranked team in the country?
Well, we felt coming in after going back and looking at the two games that we had played them that we had just been awful on the offensive end, and we just felt we had to make them guard us in the half court, and these guys stepped up. They really did. They did a great job, and they did believe that we could get this done today.
One guy that stepped up, a Brooklyn boy, Rob Phelps. Rob, what were your plans today?
I was just going to come out. I had a defensive mentality, and I just wanted all of us to do well, and I'm just happy that we won this game tonight.
Well, Rick told me you want to write a book, The Art of Rebounding, and this is the man you're going to write it with, Michael Smith. Michael, what could you do against Connecticut?
Basically, they was pressing everybody, and, we just had to take care of the ball and, run and rebound. They got a lot of offensive rebound, but at the end, when it counted, we came up big.
Against a team like Connecticut, do you need a 12-point lead and then hang on?
You really do need a 12-point lead because Connecticut got so good in the half-court situations that every time down the court, they can score anytime they want to because they got all types of weapons.
You guys had the answers today. Congratulations, on to the final. Back to you, Pat.
Thank you, Leslie. Good job. They did have the answers today.
Well,
boy, that was a great win for them.
Ghosts of Dave Gavitt and Joe Mulaney. Rick Barnes is a hero, but he may be leaving for that Southern comfort.
You talked to him before the game. Did he predict this? He said he knew he was going to keep Donell down. But
he mentioned looking at the tapes. I think Dickey Simpkins was the key in running their half-court offense. I thought they did a wonderful job. And, of course, Michael Smith, so strong on the boards.
Good game preparation. He talked to you before the game, right? It worked for him.
Went the other way.
I bet he calls again, too. Let's go to the fire up the scoreboard.